Welcome to We Are Cosmic Nature, the podcast. My name is Kelsey. Thank you for being here. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the astrological, the cosmic, the mystical energy of January 2026, specifically the new and full moons, as those are peak moments of the month, peak moments for all of us. The moon is a personal planet. It is a symbol, an archetype of the mother in some ways, but also our own body and our own inner world, our own emotions. So how we feel in our emotional body and our physical body has a lot to do with where the moon is and what it's doing. And though these readings always can impact people differently, right? It depends on what our chart looks like and where all of our planets are. And I'll speak to that as we get into this, but it also can and will affect the collective in a certain way. And that's what I want to speak to you about. And any updates from on my end? I had a little intro in the first episode. We'll get all the logistics of the podcast figured out. Mainly what I need to do is share the wisdom and the insights that want to come through and not worry so much about the fancy bits and pieces. We will get there. The theme, the pieces, they will all come together. But mainly we're showing up because it's a must and there's things to talk about. And I'm so excited about 2026. Truly, there is so much shifting and changing for us in the next couple of years. All of the outer planets, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, are all changing sign. And then so many of the quote unquote dwarf planets or Kuiper Belt objects are changing sign. And so all of these major celestial bodies at like 0 to 3 degrees of a new sign is a birthing. Those first couple degrees of any sign is very like new and fresh and initiatory and excited and youthful. And so when all these outer planets are changing sign, we are all experiencing this sort of influx of new. And if you've been following astrology or just, energy readings, even in the last 5, 6, 7 years, it may have sounded repetitive in that, oh, we are entering a new era. We're entering in a new chapter, a new humanity, a new timeline. And ultimately, all of that is true. And I personally believe these next 2 years is actually the peak of it. 2019, 2020 was big. There was some big new energies coming in, but it's almost like we had that sort of explosion of uncertainty and newness and things around us dying and awareness, all of us becoming more aware of multiple different things in our collective. And from there, we're all sort of finding our new realm, our new timeline that we want to operate on. And these next 2 years with all these outer planet changing signs, it feels like, okay, whoa, new energy, but now like plates shifting, steps moving forward. Like we actually need to act on the awareness that has come up over the last few years of new energy, new insight, new inspiration, new intuition, new connection, new. And now it's time to like actually move on it, which I find very interesting. So let's look at the chart for the first lunation of January, which is a full moon in Cancer. A full moon in Cancer at 13 degrees. So that means the sun is at 13 degrees and the moon is at 13 degrees. Find where 13 degrees of Capricorn and Cancer is in your chart. What house does both of those placements rule? And then from there, so you're looking at the house and then you're going to see what area of life might be activated. So if it's the first and seventh house, maybe you are experiencing fullness, completion, fruition, new insight, new awareness around maybe things to do with yourself or your relationships. First house rules self, seventh house rules relationships, as an example. But what I find so interesting about this full moon is, let me take a sip of my tea here. Venus and Mars are conjunct the sun. Venus at 12 degrees, Mars at 14 degrees. And in sort of like a basic level astrology, Venus can be the feminine, Mars can be the masculine. And they're hugging the sun, like fully hugging the sun. And then Mercury is there too. And this just feels like, just looking at this chart and looking at this energy, it's like, wow, like you're not alone. You are not alone. You have support. And you also have multiple aspects of yourself of which you can communicate. And maybe it's a feminine side, maybe it's a masculine side, or maybe it's the intuitive side, maybe it's the logical side. But your soul, yourself, is uniquely you. And it feels like you can communicate to your support system, communicate to your intuition, communicate with your logical mind. And it also feels like recognize what you have built so far. And I'm just looking at the Capricorn side of things and just sort of the energy I'm feeling as I look at the chart. Recognize what you have built so far. Recognize what you have. Appreciate what you already have. And when I look over at the moon in Cancer, where Jupiter also is parked, I'll say for now, it will be changing sign later this year. But there is this deeply sensitive, feeling, intuitive, juicy, cozy part of you as well. And we have all of this structure and we have all of this physical world around us. And we can't forget to connect within. We can't forget to connect within. That's sort of the message that I'm feeling as I look at this chart. And it could be an emotional moon. It could be a very illuminating moon of what you have created thus far, but also maybe exposing what you still deeply desire, because that Mars is there and the Mars is desire and Venus there and Venus is your values. So what is it that really makes you feel good? Maybe this is illuminating, okay, yes, you have this beautiful XYZ, I don't know what it is, part of your life, a relationship, a career, something. And yet there's still, it's like an invitation to appreciate. And then also maybe for some of us, it could be both and, right? Invitation to appreciate, and then it could be exposing what we feel might still be missing. And I find it interesting that this moon shows up at the beginning of the year, because oftentimes, a lot of us are working with the Gregorian calendar. So we believe or entrust that the start of the year is 2026, January 1st, when really, when we look at the astrology and the astronomy, it could be different. It could be the solstice in December, because it's like that darkest day of the year, or brightest on the opposite side of the planet, Aussies and Kiwis and alike. And then it also could be Aries being that fire, that boldness, that start of the astrological signs, all the signs. Nonetheless, I find it interesting that this moon is at the beginning of the year, because it feels like we are illuminating a deep core feeling. What are our values? What is it our soul truly wants? And getting the clear message. Maybe the clear message is coming from just feeling into yourself, like taking that moment to meditate. Or just watching where your mind goes when you have blank moments in your day and you're just kind of off daydreaming. Like, what is it that you deeply desire? It's quite the moon. It's quite the full moon with all that Capricorn energy. And maybe what I'm speaking about in terms of like, there's something that you want. We're just illuminating. I'm not sure that there's any particular or specific solution to said thing, but I just feel like we are becoming aware of something, aware of what we already have, aware of what we also still need and want. Yeah, I was going to say more to that, but it's escaped me. So I hope that message supports you. I know what I was going to say. I think it's that it could be that these themes are related to the houses that 13 degrees of Capricorn and Cancer are in, but it also could just be a message. Maybe you find that message while you're in those spaces of your life, as an example. Okay, let's talk about, so that's the full moon. We're starting the year with a full moon. I think that's cool. I always find it interesting how the moons land. I think it was 2023, maybe into 2024. It was like every new and full moon was on like the first of the month or something. It was really interesting. So I like that we are starting the year with this really bright moon. So it's like, okay, we are in 2026. Like, that's kind of the energy. We're in 2026. Here is what we need to address in our life. And you can also just happily go with the flow and not do anything about anything. And that's totally fine. I just, some of us like to be proactive, and that's also great too. Okay, so moving on to the new moon in January 18th, we have a new moon in Capricorn. at 28 degrees. So 28 degrees of Capricorn. This could be a different sign, a different house than where the new moon was. And it might be the same one. New moon is bright, new, literally new, like new projects or new information or new awareness or new ideas, new people, new places, right? New intentions. So we have the sun, moon, and Mercury there again. Mars is there too. Mars and Mercury are right on top of each other. So this is like info act. Words do. Like literally whatever's coming through, write it down, but don't just write it down, do it. Like if there's something new that you want to do, just do it. Don't think, we're not thinking about it. We're moving. Insight, inspiration, information is in and movement is on. Go. That's what this feels like. Very fast energy because it is also making a trine to Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of breakthroughs and shakeups and movement and sudden changes and being unique and being bold. So, wow. I mean, a literal exactly trine to Uranus. So it's lightning quick. Something might, and it's in earth signs. So there's something physical, like in our tangible world, that needs to happen. Either you are moving your body, you're moving your home, you're moving your places, you're moving your things, you are moving money, you are moving, like it's not just a thought and an idea, like it's really like things are actually happening in the physical world. So that's interesting. And then there's also this sextile to Saturn and Neptune at the final degrees of Pisces. And what's interesting about the Saturn and Neptune conjunction, very rare in Pisces, is like dreams to reality. Is literally what that message is. Dreams to reality, because Saturn is earth, it's building, it's doing things. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and this is dreams, inspiration, spirit, soul connection, very etheric, and Saturn is very earth. So those two coming together is like ultimate manifestation vibes. So yeah, this new moon's pretty magical. I would not be sitting still. If I were you, I would be doing something and making the dream a reality, making your ideas, your intuition, your inspiration real. And I've been, so I cleared out a lot of the accounts I was following on social media because, this 9-year that we are in 2025, we're moving into a 10-year or a 1-year, depending on what numerology you follow. They're both correct in their own way. But this 9-year can be very like almost Piscean in that it's very like dreamy and it can be easily distracted. And can I tell you that the doom scrolling, oh my God, it kept getting me and it was just irritating. Like I went onto the app to do something that I want to do for creation and work and projects. And then it was like, of course, right? Like there's always a video playing. And then this, oh my gosh, it was bad. Anyways, I unfollowed a lot of accounts on social media and just cleared my energy. But I kept a few that I find quite inspiring. And one of them was speaking about different ways you can essentially manifest. And it's all honestly just very much science, just showing up as if. We've heard that fake it till you make it, show up as if, embody the energy you want to become. And it really is simple. And sometimes we just need to rearrange the words until we really get it and really let it click. It could be the same message and just different words. And what stood out to me, one that landed really well for me, is to create an alter ego. If there's something in your life, like a lifestyle you want to create or something you want to do in business, a success, a version of you, a highest self version of you that you see, create this alter ego. You can give them a different name if you want and literally just like pretend to be that person that has XYZ or that does XYZ. Just pretend for fun. And essentially, if you practice that enough, it does collapse the timeline and you do become that. And the way this person had shared it was not fake it till you make it, because that's what I was sort of playing with. It was practice it until you make it. It's like, wow, you switch one word and it makes a lot more sense, at least for me. Practice it until you make it. And there's nothing wrong with having an alter ego. Like literally, we are humans on Earth playing these roles, and without starting a whole other podcast episode on the topic here. The ego is our role play, right? So what's wrong with having an alter ego that you practice and sort of pretend to be until you become that version of yourself you're looking to become? That's what came to mind when I looked at this new moon. So I hope that's helpful for you. Please feel free to send me a message on Instagram or send me an email and yeah, just offer me any insights or messages that came through for you. And those are the lunations of January. And I look forward to sharing the energy of February with you very soon.